RoX-TV.
You would not be able to miss that shit. And by the way, if you can laugh at yourself, come on, man. That shit would have been awesome.
Exactly. So we're working on it, y'all. Play that Clue. Clunatics for life.
We had Onyx, Lil Jon, Guar for the first time.
Guar!
George Clinton. Pauly Shore, Flavor Flav. Jimmy Walker, Mystical, Above the Law, Exhibit. Naughty by Nature, Bobby Brown, Warren G. Hobson. Brother Lynch Hung, Harlan Williams, Ryan Posehn, Ralphie May, Static X.
Rest in peace, Ralphie May.
Rest in peace.
Cheech and Chong was that.
Cheech and motherfucking Chong.
And I couldn't even see him. I couldn't, G. It was so packed and out the sides, you couldn't even see it. Danny Brown, Vampiro, The Far Side, Master P, Ric Flair. Now, some of y'all, a few of y'all, kind of ruined it. They were throwing
Ric Flair.
Well, yeah, ninjas are throwing shit at Ric Flair for some reason.
Who threw shit at Ric Flair?
Ric fucking
You're
Flair.
an asshole.
Like, I guess he should have known to take the bumps already.
No, Ric Flair just took the 10,000 and said bye.
P.O.D., Biz Marquis, Raekwon, Ghetto Boys for the first time.
Whoa.
Swollen Members, Ritz, my man Jelly Roll. We love you, Jelly Roll.
We love Jelly Roll.
And we hope you don't go down the dark path. Because there's no hate on our end. I'm
We
serious.
love Jelly Roll. We're trying to get him. We'll get him next year.
The only reason,
We love Jelly.
okay, you can blame it on me. You can blame it on me because the only reason he was not brought in this year is because we try to change it up. If you had a tour going out, you can't have the exact same lineup every show, every tour.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to switch it up. Yeah, he performed 5 years in a row, and I basically
5
got
years in a
up
row.
and I said, look, man, just take him. You know, we're gonna have you set this one out, bring it back next year. It's all love.
We look forward to the return of Jelly Roll and Lil White.
We had
Phenomenal.
Mayday, Seven Dust, Tone Low, Jim Norton, Rob Bass, Slick Rick, personal favorite.
Lottie.
He's a legend, Slick Rick. You know what I mean?
Shit.
And of course, Charlie Sheen. All right, so look. Okay, we had the greatest event in wrestling, in my opinion. One of the greatest wrestling events of all kind at Hog Rock.
That's right.
Hands down. If you're a wrestling fan from back in the day till now, this is the biggest card ever assembled in the world.
Ever.
Straight the fuck up. Listen to these names. Tracy Smothers, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Tito Santana, the Rock and Roll Express, Booker T, fucking Wildfire Tommy Rich, the Headbangers, Bob fucking Backlund,
Bob Backlund.
Raven, Al Snow, Ken Patera, Coco Beware, Rhino, Sabu, Kamala, Jay the King Lawler, Rakishi, Brian Christopher, Dutch Mantel, The Powers of Pain, Zach Gowen. That's just the first list.
Keep it going.
Jimmy Snuka, Superboy.
All right, Jimmy Snuka.
Oh, the one and only Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Ronnie Garvin, the Hands of Stone. Mr. USA, Tony Atlas. Eugene. The one and only, the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. The Honky Tonk Man. Jake the Snake Roberts. Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Drunk Terry Funk.
Easy done.
Big Daddy Viscera, rest in peace, Rob Conway, Cowboy Bob Orton, Rowdy Roddy Piper, rest in peace, Abdullah the Butcher, Gold Dust, Butterbean, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, Ken Shamrock, the Nasty Boys, Kevin Nash, Mick Foley, Gangrel, and the motherfucking Boogeyman.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Now check it out.
JC Dub, JC Dub, JC Dub, JC Dub.
Now, I was there for that show, and I remember looking at all the wrestlers that were gathered in the back, and it was like a great family reunion for them. Like, a lot of them hadn't seen each other for a long time. Some of them hadn't even wrestled for a long time. And there was so much love and camaraderie back in the backstage area, because it was like, man, all those legends, all those great performers, they all shared history together, they all shared time on the road, coming together like that. It's such a fucking great moment. It's one of the greatest moments in wrestling of all time, and I stand by that. All right. So now we had the drug bridge. Now the drug bridge was whack in my opinion because they were hard selling. You know what I mean? There's one thing, hey, you want something. There's another thing with all up in your face, like pressuring you to buy some shit.
Kill your local heroin dealer.
And they were not juggalos. They were drug dealers, straight and simple. They might put on a fresh, clean ICP shirt they just
From
bought off
Walmart.
the rack to try to blend in, but they were not juggalos.
They were druggalos.
If you walked across Drug Bridge with any kind of camera showing, they would threaten you. So, yeah.
They sold crack to Scotty D, got him addicted.
So we had leg hepatitis.
And don't forget about the Drug Bridge horror.
Leg
Drug Bridge
hepatitis, where Shaggy lost his charm. And to this day, it's like the lost treasure, you know what I mean? Okay, and then we also had Love Train Wars are getting out of hand during this time.
Scrub.
All right, and we also had the infamous Tila Tequila incident. Now, the Tila Tequila incident is actually the worst thing that ever happened to the gathering. It really was. Because that bad press went out there and it made it extremely difficult to do any kind of business with hiring artists into the gathering, with hiring businesses into the gathering, because it really gave it a really bad negative light. And they thought that that's all the gathering was artists and performers getting pelted with bricks to the face.
I think Shaggy said it best though. If I was getting pelted, I would have moved the fuck out of the way.
Okay, then there was that ninjas that was creeping around stealing shit. He got caught. Right.
Juggalo justice.
Rachel, if you wanna tell the story.
I was sitting there doing my thing, my innocent little self, selling my artwork, and come down a hill. Here's a ninja wearing a bumper as a chain. And I said, that's new. Then comes a ninja with a steering wheel and a carburetor. And next thing I know, somebody's handing me an oil cap. And I said, what the fuck is happening? Car pieces coming down. Dismantled.
So yes, they ripped the car completely apart.
Hey, can we find a picture of the car? It's somewhere in here.
There might not be.
It's not.
Okay, now, the reason we didn't go back to this particular location was because in 2013, the gathering tanked financially. Okay? I wasn't running it. I want to bring that up. At that time, I was doing EMS. But basically the gathering tanked and lost a shit ton of money. And it wasn't due to lack of draw. There was a lot of ninjas there. It was just over expenditures on the artists and everything else. And so in return, there was a lot of money owed to vendors. Like across the board, all vendors were owed. Now we have since paid them off.
Of course.
But they were really pissed and irate at the time. And as you know, Hog Rock is in the middle of nowhere. You only have one vendor for each thing to choose from. And they were all pissed off at us. And they were like, we're not doing business with you. So we couldn't go back.
Couldn't get the tents, couldn't get the...
Now, the other reason was because in 2014, and again, you blame me, I was like, I kind of took over the gathering again.
It was 2013. Was that bad year? 2014, you took over, I'm sorry.
Yeah, 2014, I took over the gathering, and I was like, it's been there for 7 years. You know, it's getting a little played out with the drug bridge. We need to fucking move on. Because my vision of the gathering has always been a carnival. You know what I'm saying? It moves. It moves around. It's a freak show. It's everything that moves around all these different locations.
It's a traveling circus.
Yeah. So I wanted to move on anyway. So let's not make this try to make this work. Let's just move on and do it somewhere else. And that's when came to Legend Valley, Thornhill, Ohio. From 2014 to 2016, and my personal favorite location for the gathering. Now, Steve Trickle, who owns the property, he welcomed us with open arms and showed us a lot of love when nobody else would. Because we had another location set up in Kaiser, Missouri called Crybaby Campgrounds, and they were pissed off, so they basically started a petition to keep us out of there. And the people that own the property the whole time was like, we're not going to do business with you if you bring the gathering of the Juggalos into your area. So she had to back out, and we were like close, like it was like 5 months or 3 months out or some shit.
Yeah. You gotta understand, Rob works on this for a year straight. And he put so much planning in, and for them to pull the plug, fuck that shit. But all the hate on the outside makes the love on the inside that much better.
So Steve Trickle saved us, and I have mad love for that ninja.
Give it up for Steve Trickle.
And he told me, everybody's trying to keep you out and everybody's against you. That makes me want to bring you in even more. Because he was a rebel. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this ninja did time. You know what I mean? He was like, fuck them motherfuckers. Come on in. I got your back. All right, now the land of Legend Valley is actually sacred land. It's where native tribes would meet and gather together for giant powwows and discuss things, like right on this land. There's actually an Indian burial ground there just off of Legend Valley. It's not actually on the ground, it's just off of it. And Steve doesn't let anybody go up there because, you know,
out of respect for the native First Peoples.
But you can feel the magic in that land. I swear, man. Like when you're there, it's just like positive vibe just flowing through you. There's an energy there that's really wonderful.
Yes, it's a powwow for our tribe.
And not to mention that every great artist has played there.
Yes. That's been a concert venue for a very long time, long before Steve Trickle took over. All the greats played. Jimi Hendrix played there. Grateful Dead played there. Who else? Rolling Stones. You can name it. All the greats have played there, including Insane Clown Posse and the Juggalos.
Now, some new performers at Legend Valley. The Wizard of the Hood Show. Now, in my opinion, the Wizard of the Hood Show was the greatest show I've ever seen. And everything came together for that magically. It really did. Like that giant screen shit you saw in the back, like they were working on that programming and trying to get that video up. And they were like, look, it's gonna be a minor miracle this video plays all the way through. You know, and the screen was breaking down. The small people that came in and did the Munchkins, they rehearsed that show one time. You know what I mean? And somehow it all came together like pure magic. And I was looking out in the crowd and it was all wonder and awe and just like, it was like the greatest shit ever. Like, oh, fuck.
We have a wonderful picture at the Psychopathic Radio of Shaggy 2 Dope in it, some fool in a fuck off shirt, it's like holding up his middle fingers to the crowd, and it's just a sea of middle fingers. You wanna even?
You know, and when, I don't want to get it too much into the whole, you know, twisted thing going sideways, but we were trying to work it out with them, and we were basically like, man, think about this. How great would it be to do a Wizard of the Hood tour? You know what I mean? To go out with this nationwide. Right, you know what I'm saying?
Maybe
It
someday.
would have been awesome. You know what I mean? And hopefully someday. One day.
If the love is there.
You know, everything changes and it can change back. All right, so we also had Shock G, Killjoy Club for the first time.
Killjoy Club.
Gilbert Godfrey, who's coming back at this gathering. Big Hoodoo for the first time.
Hoodoo.
Puddle of Mud, Cess Crew, Flostradamus of all performers. One of the greatest too, man. It was awesome. Biohazard, Suicide Silence, Cannibal Corpse, Loonies, Yellow Wolf.
Fish Billy.
Yellow Wolf is in my top 10 all time.
Oh,
Me personally.
phenomenal.
Dope DOD, another one of my top 10.
Dope TOT, give it up for them ninjas.
The Mafia 6 in this moment who fucking killed it. Mad Child, Waka Flocka Flame.
Flocka.
All right, look, if y'all haven't heard the story, before the gathering, Waka Flocka was catching it. There was mad ninjas online like, fuck him, we're gonna fuck his shit up, we're throwing shit at him. He's getting the Bubba Sparks award. It was all negative. He got up on stage and sure enough, shit started coming in like a hailstorm. He caught a half a cup of beer, started drinking it. He caught a hot dog, started eating that. He just kept on like, what, you know, and the crowd all in front was the most hostile crowd you have ever seen. All the haters had pushed forward just to get it to him. They had this all planned. And in the midst of all that, the motherfucker jumps into the fucking crowd.
Oh, shit.
Zero fucks given. Zero fear.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, in one fucking second, mad love. You just seen the total transition. All of a sudden, everybody's like, oh shit! Oh. And it was a complete reversal. And it was realistically, the greatest moment in musical history. Easily the top 3 greatest moments of musical history.
If you've enjoyed this video from RoX-TV.com, make sure you follow RoX-TV on Facebook and YouTube. If it's underground, we're there.